So I think as consumers, we all expect more from our brands and from our retailers. I think consumers are all feeling the pressure on their pockets, which translates to price sensitivity and being more cautious in their purchasing decisions. Unfortunately, at the same time, there's also decreasing brand loyalty and retail loyalty as we shop across a broader range of brands and retailers. From a market perspective, there's clearly cost and margin pressure that comes from higher inflation rates and the higher interest rates. On the one hand, it's the sheer proliferation of new brands that are coming through and that general human need for newness that drives some of that. So for example, for younger consumers, increasingly they're spending more of their money on digital products, and that detracts from physical products from a retail perspective. There's also the ongoing channel switch post-pandemic. So clearly there was a spike over the pandemic for online retail and a subsequent rebalancing of that spike back into store. But as we've seen on an ongoing basis, that migration is going up and down as people seek more experience, both physically in store and online. There's been a notable shift from maximizing revenues to optimizing profit. And I think that's not just the case in retail, but also more broadly. So if you look, for example, at subscription TV and Netflix, for example, their transition from focusing just on net subscriber ads to a broader views of profitability are an example of that. And we're seeing a similar thing in retail. So, for example, you'll see differentiated service levels for less profitable customers, and in some cases, even refusing to serve those customers if they become too unprofitable for that retailer. Now, if you're going to see this move from revenue to profit being the central focus, that has some natural implications for how you manage your revenue transformation. Perhaps most obviously, it's about performance transparency. So are you clear about where you're making money and creating value and where that value is being destroyed? The next point then is really about working out, well, how do we respond to that? And that's about having a more dynamic approach to capital allocation and budgeting. When thinking about channel optimization, it starts with redirecting traffic to the most profitable channels and making sure that across those channels you're driving customer lifetime value. Faced with potentially decreasing customer loyalty, I think some of the levers retailers have to pull here include a focus on compelling campaigns and positioning of the brands, but also on a focus on loyalty that extends beyond just reductions in price, but into value-added activities for consumers, ensuring you have a clear plan across 4 key areas: the proposition, pricing and promotion, channel optimization, and ultimately customer experience and loyalty.